Right, gotta love the ambient music here. Welcome, folks. If you're watching this from the beginning, particularly if you're watching it from the beginning on YouTube after it has processed and everything, I am Nathan P. Butler. This is my YouTube channel. Here you can find things like From the Star Wars Home Video Library, Fantasy Flight Games product reviews and things like that, guide to the different versions of PlayStation VR out there if you're trying to buy one of those for the holidays. But you can also find my Star Wars Timeline Gold, the most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere, over at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline. And I can be heard with Michael Morris on Cloud City Casino, a Star Wars gaming podcast, or with Mark Herleman on Star Wars Beyond the Films, which is a Star Wars Legends and the Canon story type podcast, both of which can be found at StarWarsReport.com. And my book, A Saga on Home Video, A Fan's Guide to U.S. Star Wars Home Video Releases, can be found on Amazon, and so on and so on and so on. So, just sort of picking up here, this is the Battlefront Livestream podcasting and podcast in terms of it's more about commentary or discussions with folks in the chat or with guests than it is about the gameplay per se. So in that case, sort of more towards a podcast or vodcast style than a live stream in some cases. So we're just going to kind of jump back in here. Campaign long over at this point. But I did finally, for those who were watching last time's live stream, I did finally finish out that freaking multiplayer milestone I was working on, which is those disrupted enemies. So my advice to you if you're trying to do this one is basically try to do it with a friend. I didn't, and it was a pain in the butt. Because notice it says assist with defeating 25 enemies by using various disruption status effects. There aren't very many of those in the game. The primary one you're going to use is the disruption star card for the officer. But the disruption effect doesn't last very long. And when you upgrade the card, it doesn't change the amount of time that it disrupts, because the disruption thing is kind of a finite kind of process. What it does is it increases the radius away from you that it affects. So upgrading it is great and all, but still you have to be really good on the timing, because you can't disrupt someone and kill them and have that count for you. It must be a kill assist, which is what makes it really kind of a pain in the butt. But I did finally finish that last night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, just about 4 o'clock maybe in the morning, after playing numerous rounds of Galactic Assault where I just completely sucked because I was doing nothing but trying to do the disruption thing, and managed to basically not, there are plenty of matches where I didn't get a single one counting toward that milestone. So right now, the milestones that I'm working on are primarily Starfighter ones, at least as far as multiplayer goes. And then when you go to Troopers, the ones that stand out to me that I want to try to hit is Heavy Kills. Hey, Mace. Heavy Kills is one of them that I want to try to hit. Officer Kills is another. But when it comes to actual ability-based kills, the ones that I'm tending to focus on, where are they? That's up near the top, actually, is still working on Stay True, which is those infiltration kills, and still need to do more turret kills when it comes to the officer. So officer and specialist are probably going to be where I'm tending to go, but every so often, because of the whole sharpshooter kills that give you the night vision for the CR2, and just the heavy kills in general, I'll jump to them from time to time. But my primary focus is still sort of an officer specialist thing, even though those aren't my favorites, to be able to do it. And I continue the same thing that I've said before, the time challenges. Hey, Vita. I'm not sure the time challenges are really worth it at this point, because usually the reward is very small relative to just playing a single match, and they're relatively confining in what it has you doing. So time challenges, pretty much, I don't care anymore at this point as far as those go. I mean, if I can do it with some extra time, fine, but if not, screw it. So now that I've got my officer's disruption thing done, I've switched my star card loadout to improved battle command, expert weapons handling, and resourceful. Resourceful I would like to boost up at some point given the opportunity, but I have to be officer card level 15, which again is based on the tick marks up at the top of the cards, and right now I'm at 11. So I could spend, 40 crafting parts 4 times to just get the base version of any of these other cards to get me to the level where I could then spend 120 to upgrade that, but I'm not sure that I care enough to actually do that at this point. It's the way that the star card tick marks and star card levels actually affect upgrading when they are effectively random, or the relatively scarce crafting parts thing is still kind of an irksome thing to me here. But we'll jump into Galactic Assault. Played quite a bit of Blast relative to what little I had played before while I was trying to do the disruption thing, and I found that even though the maps are smaller and the killing is faster paced, I still didn't get that much more benefit out of playing Blast when trying to do that disruption milestone than I did elsewhere. So I'm just going to say, whatever. All right, so question, let's see. Senator Convers says, if you could take out a novel, comic, or other form of media other than that Vodran book, Escape from Vodran, what would it be and why? Like if I could yank something out. I think for canon, it would probably be the Star Wars Adventures series. Because while, and it's close, because I would almost say like something like the Chewbacca miniseries or something, because there has been some bad stories, but I feel like the Star Wars Adventures series just doesn't fit the tone and style of storytelling really of canon. It's designed for little kids basically, and it's weird, it's goofy, it doesn't really fit very well. So I'd probably toss that one out. And then as far as Legends, I would get rid of Brian Wood's Star Wars, because in an effort to be accessible, it had a lot of continuity contradicting things in it that led to just some bad management of the storytelling. Or stemmed from, I guess, maybe some bad management of the storytelling. Alright, so what am I doing? Oh yeah, turret kills is what I want for my officer here. Oh, shitballs! I'm dead. Saw that coming. Let's do this. I guess I could go unlock Bounty Hunter. I actually like the Bounty Hunter card for each of them. It'd be better than Expert Weapon Handling for me. I might do that between matches next. Whoa, I was aiming right at your head, bro. I'm sorry. My bad. Notice the detail I noticed on this thing. Like, if he's running, like, you can see the pores, and like the little fine hairs on the back. Sorry. On the back of his hand, and when he's running, you can sort of see the different gradations of color in his cuticles on his fingers. And that's some serious attention to detail. If only the progression system were done as well. Ah. That whole itchy nose thing that happens from time to time. Okay. Around the corner. Nope.
Troop transport damaged.
Troop transport damaged. It's not quite as badass, but reminds me of "Where are you going?" For Leia in Forces of Destiny. Come on, turret! Yay! Kill assist of some kind. I'm assuming that was from the turret. I don't know. Come on, turret, baby. Let's go. Let's kill some folks. Come on, turret. I need 40 turret kills for that milestone, because I've already done 10. Yep, HAL. It took us a while. Like, that was probably the single... I'm answering because JL sent me a message on Facebook earlier today asking when the stream was going to be. It was while I was just starting to record with Michael Morris for Cloud City Casino, and we actually just finished recording. This will be probably the single longest episode of Cloud City Casino yet. I was about to say ever, but you never know. It could go longer in the future, because we spent some time talking about the Battlefront 2 campaign and took a lot of different angles on it. So I think if you like discussion of Battlefront, which I guess is why you'd be watching this, check out the next edition of Cloud City Casino when it drops. I'm guessing we're talking probably in the next couple of days. Be at StarWarsReport.com. The current episode is the one about the controversies about Battlefront, whereas the one that was just recorded, that's pretty long, is going to be the one that deals with mainly campaign stuff. But it was campaign gameplay, campaign relative to progression, all kinds of fun stuff. Fire, 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 fire! There we go! Woo! I thought I was gonna die before I could shoot. Damn, damn, damn! I am getting, my nose. I am getting more into the habit now of using the battle command, even if there's no one around, as a quick boost if I take damage. So that's a decent way to use it. I don't think it's actually working quite as intended if that's the way to use it, but whatever.
Troop transport damaged.
Troop transport damaged!
You and me.
It's almost the kind of voice you'd expect to be on a corner saying, you know, extra, extra, read all about it! Michael Flynn pleads guilty! Film at 11! I did, by the way, for those of you who watch my other streams, including the PlayStation VR ones, I did a PlayStation VR stream of Doom VFR to give you some impressions of that yesterday. And dug it enough that when my wife and I went out to lunch, we usually go out to lunch on like usually it's a Sunday, but if she works, we do it on Saturday. Like she works that weekend, we do it on Saturday. But when we were on the way back from our lunch date, we swung by Target because I had seen the regular Doom in their bargain bins. So now I've got the regular Doom to play because that really sort of whet my appetite for that type of game. I had played the Doom demo years ago, but I'd never actually played the game itself. It just wasn't on my radar. Because really it took playing a lot of Destiny and whoa, there he is. And stuff like Battlefront to even get me really thinking of first-person shooter type games again, because I tend to prefer third-person shooters. So, yeah. Whew, okay. Very cool. See, I don't need... HBO is good for those who have HBO, but I just bought that 4K set of them, so I'm good. I'm ready to go. I need to go back and rewatch them now that I have them in 4K. But yeah, I've checked out some scenes in 4K, and a lot of the crushed blacks issue, as it's called, when it comes to like areas that are black winding up kind of feeling like they're just like smudgy finger painty black, is definitely something that is fixed in grand fashion in the 4K release, which is cool. Like, I was wondering if the 4K release was really going to be enough of an upgrade over Blu-ray to really make it worthwhile, and turns out the answer apparently is yes. So, where are some bad guys? So I can drop a turret. The turret really makes the most sense on this one once you get indoors. It's not going to work nearly as well outdoors because there's just more room for them to run around. Oh! 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 Did you see that? Did you see that? I died, and I am going to have to take a screenshot of that. Dang. I got blown up and flew into a tree. Crazy.
That's a hit. Got the MTT.
That's a hit. Got the NTT. I don't think I've ever actually seen this, and I may be wrong, but I don't think I've actually seen this Galactic Assault actually end with the MTT being destroyed before. Though I think I have seen it end with not even getting to the palace because of being able to kill off enough of the enemy before it gets to the palace. But I don't think taking out the MTT is something I've actually seen a match end with yet. So, you know, that I don't remember about the extended versions, because I don't remember if the ones that I had on Blu-ray were extended at all. I'm not, as much as I'm into that sort of thing for Star Wars and could tell you like how certain episodes of Clone Wars were extended, that's not something I really looked into for Harry Potter, so I haven't been able to look at it. I actually am going to get some extra benefit out of the Harry Potter stuff because I ordered them through Best Buy, and then Best Buy sent one of those, oh yeah, we know you pre-ordered this months ago, but yeah, we're not going to be able to get it to you for an extra month after release. Oopsie! Which they've done a couple of times on me with 4K releases. So I canceled the order and then just hunted a couple of Best Buys around here and finally found one that had it in stock and bought it there. And then later they still sent me a copy based on that canceled order. And it was like, well, we screwed up, so I guess you can keep it. Like, oh, well, okay then. So I got a friend of mine who's going to be buying my extra 4K set of Harry Potter. I kind of wish that they had included Fantastic Beasts in it, but then again, if that were the case, I mean, we just wind up buying another Fantastic Beasts one soon, right? Whenever they have more of the movies in that, like, sub-series out.
MTT preparing to fire.
Ah! Let's leave it right there. Whoa! Whoa! Uh-oh. Fall back! Fall back! Everyone set your clocks back by 1 hour. Spring forward, but now it's time to fall back. Oh, there is no way I'm making it by the end of it. Well, no, maybe. Maybe. It'll be close. Yes! I didn't die by missing the fallback point. I can't tell you how many matches it took me to figure out what the heck was going on when they said fall back. I thought it just was like a notification that the next part of the match was going. I didn't realize initially that you actually had to get the hell out of there or you would immediately die.
They're overriding the west door controls.
You know, I would say I could see them being able to do that if they still have the original animation cells, because it would just be a matter of scanning it in at a higher resolution, probably. Like, it wouldn't necessarily... that would have been a good place to put my turret, but as I was pressing the turret button, I got killed. Just depends on if the, like, what resolution the original artwork is. Like, because it could be a matter of scanning in original artwork. It could be going from, like, an earlier film master of some kind, based on the original art. But as long as that stuff still exists, and is in good shape, in theory, they could rescan it at a higher resolution. I think that they're really working on their more marquee titles right now, like Lion King and whatnot, getting new releases, but I don't think I've seen any kind of 4K Disney stuff so far outside. The only one that sticks out in my mind as far as Disney 4K is well, not even for cartoon, is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and that sort of thing. Spider-Man Homecoming did, but that was Sony and Disney, which is kind of a different thing. Columbia Pictures, I think, had something involved in it. Die, 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 die! If I would just stop shooting the wall and actually shoot them, that would be good. Blink! Oh, shit! I thought I was gonna roll... Ooh. That was weird. I thought I was rolling through the door. I must have been just a little bit too far forward.
Good news. Superior reinforcements landing.
Here we go. Yeah. Be interesting to see what kind of curriculums gets created. Like, I've actually had the opportunity, I guess is the right word, but more like the responsibility of having to create curricula before. And it's not necessarily an easy task if you're creating something completely from scratch.
Enemy leader attacking.
But it's pretty cool when it comes together because it, you know, you realize you've been able to tailor absolutely everything you really want to do for that particular course, that you're not sitting there, you know, beholden to the will of some test or standards writer elsewhere in the, you know, in the country. Oh shit! Nice. So Jason, is the sealed aspect of it just because you want to have them sealed, or is it sealed because, like many even Laserdisc collectors right now, you just don't have access to a Laserdisc player, so even if you unsealed it, you wouldn't be able to use it? That's how I was for a long time. I had a bunch, I mean, I didn't keep them sealed, but I had a bunch of Star Wars Laserdiscs and didn't have a Laserdisc player yet for quite a while. Wah, wah. I love that they changed this, by the way, to first, second, third, fourth, fifth, so it's not always the same person. In fact, by definition, nobody can have multiple slots. Just cool. Yeah, that's really was a terrible, terrible match. All right. Because I was trying to do the turret kills and not really paying attention to any other kind of kills. I'm going to go and change out my star card thing. I'm going to get that Bounty Hunter. And if I get Bounty Hunter and I boost it up enough, I may be able to finally boost resourcefulness for the officer. Not sure. I'll have to see. I know I can't craft... I think for the officer right now I can't craft epic, but I don't think I can craft rare either. Because I want to say it's rare that requires level 15? It's 10 or 15, I forget, of card level. I'm not sure that I would want to teach an online course for... Well, I mean, online course for college is just... It's a different beast than what I deal with. You know? So, okay, so you're just keeping them sealed because, you know, just sealed is the way you want to have them in the collection. Gotcha. Gotcha. Let's see. All right, so collection, officer, expert weapons handling is the one I'm going to get rid of. Officer's presence, marksman, expert weapons handling, brawler, bounty hunter, battle points at an increased rate. And I actually would like to have survivalist too, so I'll go ahead and do that one for 40. Do that one for 40. And that makes me card level... what? 13. I will upgrade Bounty Hunter, so that's card level 14. Is there any of these I'd really like to have that I haven't messed with yet? Improved blaster turret, increased health and shorter recharge time. Oh, heck yeah. Because that actually helps what I'm doing right now. So I should be at level 15 now. Right? Yes. The I'm sorry emote and unlock rarity crafting. Or rare crafting. Okay, so I am going to change expert weapon handling out for improved blaster turret. But I am going to actually improve improved blaster turret with better recharge time. And then resourceful. Do I want resourceful or bounty hunter? And that's a recharge speed time thing too. I'll go to bounty hunter right now. No. I'll stick with resourceful. I'm so confused. That'll work. And then I'll go ahead and change... What's the... So, that's a new one. Wow, that's kind of dickish. I like it. I'm so... Alright. Cool. Yeah, survival, for me, Mike, the ones that stand, as far as like the boost ones, I like Bounty Hunter. I also like Resourceful, but the other one I tend to swear by is Survivalist. So if you're having a lot of trouble staying alive, that it can speed up your health regen. But that's more of a... It depends on how you're playing, and right now I'm not really playing for a... What's the word I'm looking for? Like a kill streak kind of type thing. I'm just trying to get those turret kills at this point. So, okay. Alright. I'm down to 755 crafting parts, which is not very much for me. Let's see. How long is it until we get... Yeah, that's nighttime. I still have a ways to go to get access to the other one. Finn or Phasma. See, now, I'm not entirely aware of how that's even going to work. I haven't been watching the stream. So, with Finn or Phasma, they're going to add them to the game, but we still have to pay to unlock them with credits, I'm assuming, right? If so, do you know how much they're going to be each? Because I've been getting crates, and maybe I should just say screw it and not touch the crates until I know I've got enough to be able to unlock both of them. So not sure. I'm not sure what Freeform is, JL. Is that one of the online streaming things from a particular company? And if so, what company? Alright, let's see how this updated officers. Good God! Are you talking both together, Mike, or are you talking individually? Because none of them cost that much of the ones that are in the base game. Highest cost in the base game, at least once they tweaked it, was $15K for Luke or Vader. Damn! So basically, I should just not be spending any credits at all from here on. Okay. Interesting. And it is interesting that even though that the... Now, let me rewind. Because I could have sworn that in the way that they word the Season of the Last Jedi promo thing that they put on the website, I seem to recall that it said something about when you pick a side that you're using some kind of like credits for your faction to buy heroes and stuff like that, or to unlock things. So are we sure this is even actual credits, or is this possibly something related specifically to which faction you choose when you first start playing? Because we're going to be choosing a faction on the 5th and not actually getting the characters added until the 13th, which would give us time to build up whatever cash reserve we need. Wow, I like this. It's almost like a Dusk kind of feeling. Interesting. Damn! Damn! No. Feels weird coming at it from this direction for some reason. Alright, turret, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Yes! Turret kill. That's one more of the 40 that I need. And I'm getting close on this weapon, or officer kills, but I think it just unlocks the... Oh, duh. I'm sitting there looking at that going like, oh, look, it's one of my guys. No, dumbass. You're for the Republic this time.
Let's do this.
Ah, ABC Family. Gotcha. Well, yeah, because generally those rights are one package deal, where if one company has them, somebody else can't have it or have anything similar. Don't know. So if it's 25,000, they dropped them by 75%. Ah! Then that's not going to be an even split. Ah, shit! Pay attention to what you're doing. Yeah, we'll see. A universal deal. What do you mean by a universal deal, JL? You mean like with Universal Studios kind of thing, or you mean like a universal deal as in something that... I don't know what you mean by universal deal in this case. Unless you just mean anybody who wants to show them can show them, but that will never happen, because that's... You don't even really see that with public domain stuff most of the time, even though it's available.
All of us report to fight. Online.
Kill him, Mr. Turret! Oh, sweet, it worked!
We're putting the
Ha Jim, you know, I honestly don't remember unless it was in Catalyst. So I don't think... I mean, I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up, but I'm not sure who actually owns HBO. I don't... It's not... Certainly not Disney. And Disney owns ABC. So you would have to have a deal that would be made by... Like you might have a deal that's made by a parent company like Disney so that something could be shown on all of its channels, like ABC, ABC Family, Disney Channel, whatever. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Come here. Get back here so I don't have to wait for a recharge. Thank you. Oh, and I'm dead. I was just trying to hit the double shoulder buttons thing, but nope. But yeah, I'm not sure about the Kyber crystals that she gave to Jin. I'm trying to remember if she already... I know she got that... There were a bunch of Kyber crystals that came into their possession during Catalyst, but I can't remember if she had it prior to the beginning of Catalyst. It's been a long time. That sounds about right. Time Warner owning HBO. Yeah, so it would be a different company for HBO and ABC Family than a different parent company. You would think that I would know, being in the Atlanta area, what's up with Time Warner and what they own, but nope. Nope. Oh, eat that, and it didn't help. I was too far down on the ground. I was going to drop the turret, but I realized if I'd use the turret right then, it wouldn't help because it wouldn't be able to shoot through the railing.
That's a hit! Got the MTT!
What I am, die! I think all the Harry Potters are pretty decent. I tend to like the ones as they get more serious later on, as the characters get older, and as the story becomes more in focus. Like, Chamber of Secrets, they're very young, which doesn't appeal to me as much, and in Chamber of Secrets, you know, there's the, the menace isn't really known yet. It's still a phantom menace, so to speak, at that point. Oh shit! I was trying to drop the turret before I went backwards there, and it didn't work. Drop the dang. There we go. Come on, turret, kill him. Nope. I prefer Star Wars or Harry Potter. I think my many fan projects would make it easy to determine that is Star Wars. I think Harry Potter's all right. And it's a good franchise. I'm not sure I would put it anywhere near any like favorites lists for me.
Good news.
So to speak.
Reinforcements landing.
Reinforcements landing.
Auto gun ready to go.
Get him. Dang it.
Closing in on the power.
Uh-oh, tank. Hello. Yoda be like, fuck this tree. What? He was slashing at the tree like it was an enemy or something. I believe that the materials have said thus far that he is essentially not even really force sensitive per se. I mean, like, he's force sensitive, but not in the way that we usually think of as force sensitive. Like, not in any kind of conscious, able to control it sort of way. So much as he's just so religiously in tune with it that it tends to be with him, so to speak.
Unidentified enemy now landing.
Depends on, I'm betting it depends on the movie. As far as downloading extras. I'd have to see if that has changed for the Star Wars films, but I know that at least during the original release of the digital copies of the Star Wars films, the extras did not download. Fucking A! Where am I? Oh, I was in that... I was trying to figure out where the hell I was that I couldn't move backwards or to the side. It's because I was stuck in a corner of the architecture. I do like that if you look at this character image, and when you're actually playing and you look at the model of the weapon, that any modifications that you have done actually appear on the weapon. Like that barrel, like the barrel on this pistol is different now that I have the reduced recoil mod on it. But that's pretty cool.
Drop another ion shot.
It would be cool to see some different eras on maps that would make sense for it. When you tap, it says, well, that doesn't really... I mean, unless... Whoa! I mean, really, the key thing... Yes! Turret kill. The key way to tell is... Okay, so pull up the movie that has the extras, and once if you've downloaded the movie, like actually downloaded it, then turn off your internet connection, turn off Wi-Fi or whatever on that device, and see if you can watch the extras or not. In some cases, it doesn't even give you the option to watch the extras.
No use stopping that MTT now. Shoot the cutter. Pull back positions. Withdraw to the
It'd be interesting if there was a tie between Guardians of the Wheels and otherwise. I don't think that there's that kind of tie, but we haven't really been given a whole lot of background on their actual order. Heck, we've barely been given any background on pre-Rogue One Chirrut Bays at this point.
Grenade! Turret powered up.
Although I thought, you know, some of the early movies with Bays,
I can handle myself.
they weren't all that great, you know, like Bays, Pig in the City. Just was not. Oh wait. Let's see.
They're accessing the east door controls.
I mean, it depends on so for, like I said, for the extras, just turn off the Wi-Fi connection and see if it works. That's what I'd say, because that way you'll know if it downloaded or not. You can also, depending on how they set up the extras, you can take a look in iTunes in your directory where the actual file is kept and see what the file length is. Is it the length of the movie or more? Depending on how it's set up, because some streaming services tack the extras onto the end and they just play when the movie's over, like the way that PlayStation Network does, and others actually have them as separate files that you can tell easily whether they downloaded with the film or not. Movies Anywhere, I haven't really used all that much. If it kills Ultraviolet, more power to it, because I don't use Ultraviolet. I've never really liked Ultraviolet, and I really dig the cross-platform aspect of Movies Anywhere. And the fact that now, you know, I used to get digital copy codes that I couldn't use because I don't use Ultraviolet, because I don't particularly like it, and that was the only way to redeem them. Well, now you've actually got other movie studios, or enough movie studios involved that Ultraviolet has the codes that usually work for Ultraviolet now work in Disney Movies Anywhere or do for that sort of cross-platform support. So even a movie that says, you know, includes digital copy but has that little warning that says does not include iTunes copy, most of those codes will now work in Movies Anywhere, which will allow you to do the synchronize and get an iTunes copy even if they didn't intend you to in the first place. So, sweet.
Grenade! Make way!
I mean, I don't like Ultraviolet. I think that Ultraviolet isn't up to par with some of the other services available, so if it dies, I'm not really going to shed a tear. There is something to be said, though, for having multiple options in a marketplace. If we're talking something that, you know, has a particular cost associated, it's just that that doesn't. It's for copies that you generally have with from somewhere else already. Yep. Yeah, Amazon Prime, iTunes, Vudu. I mean, the vast majority of streaming services now can link through Movies Anywhere and will synchronize with each other. But you have to have that Movies Anywhere linchpin. And that has allowed Movies Anywhere to do what Disney Movies Anywhere couldn't do, which is have A New Hope on it. Since Disney wasn't able to actually have the digital copy of A New Hope initially. It was on other services, but not that one. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Here, guys, a boost for all y'all. Oh, somebody must have taken out my turret, because the turret that I've got there just, like, it refreshed a turret for me. It's Darth Maul! Ah! I find it weird that Darth Maul can, like, throw you, but you're still not dead. But you, what the heck? Defeated by what? Interesting. I don't know what it is about streaming that makes me freaking hungry.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
I'm sitting here, my stomach's going grrr, grrr, grrr. I definitely dig the movies anywhere synchronicity aspect or synchronizing aspect. All right, let's see. So good luck turret. I'm at 15. I need 35 more. So I got 5 just since starting up today. 50 more S5 kills to get the dual zoom. That'll be nice. And 24 officer kills to get 200 credits in the gun that I already have from the Elite Trooper Edition. So I guess I'll stick with the officer for now. It's not my favorite class, but might as well. You would think that Chirrut adds something. He's at least in tune with it. Whew. Yeah, well, thankfully, most of the time, you know, JL, on most of those, you won't have to actually download unless you absolutely feel a need to, because as long as you have a wireless connection, you're good. At least right now, you know, he says, in the age of net neutrality debates. But yeah, I usually don't download the films that I get. But then again, I don't tend to buy a lot of movies digitally. I tend to just have the digital copies from when I buy a physical copy and get a code. We do, my wife and I, if there's something we can't get on Hulu or on Netflix or on CBS All Access, that's when we'll do a season pass on iTunes. And that stuff I'll usually download if it's something like Rebels, because I want to have a backup copy of it sitting on a drive. But even then, like when we get the seasons of I haven't played Hoth in a while. When we do seasons of like Doctor Who, until I'm ready to archive them, I don't download them, I just stream them. I got a giant external hard drive that is nothing but every episode of Doctor Who and all of its spin-offs. And I need to get back into watching them. I got as far as I was done with the 8th Doctor onward, and the 1st Doctor's done, and I was near the end of the 2nd Doctor when I stopped, but I've seen basically nothing of the 3rd through 7th Doctors. Unless you count the 7th's death in the TV movie for 8, for McGann. McGann's beginning. Set up that turret and kill him.
Turret set.
Turret set. I find that a lot of times with the officer, when I'm trying to get kills with one of his abilities like Disrupt, and I want to be able to count them in my head, I tend to avoid doing regular blaster kills or even taking a blaster shot because I don't want that to be what pops up as assist on me. Thankfully, at least with the turret, that's not an issue. But yeah, like while I was doing the disruption thing, I had a lot of times I thought I got a disruption kill assist to count towards my milestone when actually it was either a flash grenade or a blaster assist, even though I used all of them.
We will claim triumph.
We will claim triumph! What you'd want with an insult comic dog, but okay. You claim triumph if you like. He's a good comic dog for me to poop on. Let's see. iTunes movies do have DRM when you get them. Unless they've changed that.
One of the walkers taking damage.
Yeah, just doing a reverse release kind of thing.
Do not let them rearm.
Yeah, I mean, the first DLC season is obvious, right? I mean, ta-da! It's Last Jedi. But beyond that, I kind of wonder where they're going to go with it. I love this. Well, I mean, of course, they're saying that even though you can have like Rey and Yoda fighting together against Darth Vader and Kylo Ren during the Battle of Hoth, which is completely non-canonical, that they don't want to do, you know, cosmetic stuff like a pink Vader because that wouldn't be canonical. But if they could get their heads out of their asses on that whole thing and sort of realize they're already sort of doing that, I would love to see a Legends continuity-based DLC pack. Like, give me one where you can play as Cade Skywalker, damn it. That'd be awesome. But yeah, not gonna happen. And I don't think that iTunes will go DRM free. I don't see that happening. It's too much of a... I mean, it's like asking software companies to get rid of anti-piracy measures. I don't see that happening. But, I mean, you know, it's I could be wrong. I mean, there was a time at which we never would have imagined that Blu-rays, when they emerged, would have been region-free when DVDs were always region-locked. So, what the heck do I know? Then, yeah, I think that was because of resolution more than anything else. Because PAL and NTSC have different resolutions, but then HD is sort of a standard regardless. Because they have the resolution actually as part of the standard itself. Yeah, a Clone Wars one with Grievous would make sense since they already have found the Grievous. I do find it interesting that they're talking about, well, maybe we can't do cosmetic DLC, maybe we can, when I'm sitting back thinking, well, they found a bunch of stuff with data mining that had different versions of clones and different alien heads for the Rebels, so... It'd be interesting if that was sitting in the game code and the game material, but they never did anything with it. Kill him, Mr. Turret! I call it Mr. Coffee. And that's Mr. Turret. Nah, bad position. Depends on what you mean by do anything you want, because to some degree that's all a license issue, like a copyright issue. Like for instance, if let's say I've got, I think a perfect example is and we've talked about this before, where you've got how the physical distribution rights for episodes 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 are with 20th Century Fox right now, but it didn't include digital rights. So you could have Disney Movies Anywhere, for instance, put out digital versions of those. Well, by the same token, if I have just bought a physical copy of a film, but the digital copy rights lie with a different company that I didn't just buy from, why should I be able to make my own digital copy of it when I did not pay the digital license holder for that digital copy? It is kind of where the business logic of it goes into. Defend! Defend!
Walkers crossing the inner perimeter.
Aw, dang it! Whoa, 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 whoa! Okay.
Yeah!
Okay, it was an assist, but at least the turret smoked him. Let's see. Do I make my own digital copies? It depends on what it's for. Generally, I don't, unless I need something to grab a clip for an episode of, like, from the Star Wars Home Video Library or something. And even then, I do it fairly sparingly because I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, it falls under the fair use guidelines. Which is fairly broad when it comes to educational purposes, actually, which I would argue from the Star Wars Home Video Library is. But meh, it just isn't usually my thing. I don't usually see the need, but I don't tend to watch a lot of stuff away from home either, so I don't really need to. Do I have the Harry Potter Hogwarts set? I'm not sure what that is, so no. I had the regular original Blu-ray releases of each film, with the ones that were in 3D being the 3D Blu-ray sets for those. And same thing for Fantastic Beasts. I don't even remember if that had a 3D release or not. I think it did. And then I replaced that with the 4K Blu-ray / Blu-ray set, and just kept the ones that had 3D Blu-rays in them, because the 4K / Blu-ray set that just came out does not include the Blu-ray 3D discs. Although I think that only applies to Deathly Hallows 1 and 2. I don't think even Half-Blood Prince got a 3D home release. Damn! I just got ran over by an X-Wing. He blew me up and then ran into me and I went flying. I'm getting some pretty good air of getting my ass kicked lately. 31 disc set with digital copies. No. Nothing like that. But again, that's not really, I mean, that's one of those franchises that, like, I like, I enjoy, but I don't collect, so a lot of times I also don't really care too much about different, like, souped-up editions of them. Who the hell was shooting? Oh. Speederman. The only blaster bolt that could ever reach me was the bolt of a Speederman. Somewhere out there, somebody got that joke, and it was not in vain. Jim, did you get that joke, if you're still there? Did I use your... Yeah, I went ahead and I unlocked all my digital copies from that set, yeah.
You didn't think I was going to run, did you?
And I believe, if I remember correctly, the digital copies had originally, for the... for those releases, had been ultraviolet, I think. So on my original copies of them, I actually didn't redeem them, and I gave the codes away to friends of mine. Whereas now I could actually use them with this new set. Kill him! Okay, I just took it back up. Because the blasts were about to take it out anyway. Oh, no, that. I ran out there. I keep wanting to do my turret the old way of both shoulder buttons, and I wound up doing the battle command instead of the turret.
Hold position. Be thorough.
It would be pretty cool to see Thrawn in here. A chiss head for the officer. Yeah, it could. But, I mean, do you really care about that for multiplayer? Do I have only 16 gigs of storage space? I'm assuming you're meeting on my Apple device. My phone is 32. My last phone was 16. I think my iPad is 16 only. But again, I don't do a lot of downloading of that stuff because I can stream it, so that's taken up by apps pretty much. And boy, how it irks me that they still, like, I love the card games, the digital card games and stuff like that. Particularly collectible card, or not collectible, what do you call it? Deck building games and stuff like that. So I've got on my phone and my iPad, I got my Ascension and I got my Star Realms on there. And I really wish that Legendary DXP was available for the phone, but it's only an iPad game right now. Do I ever think of getting a 256 gig phone? Well, unless I get one of those cases like you talked about before, which I'm not at this point because I've used the OtterBox Defender. It's not even... That's not even on the radar. I don't think they make them with that much storage, and even if they did, they'd be way the hell out of my price range. The only reason I went 32 instead of 16 on my current phone is that of this model of phone, that was the minimum.
I can handle myself.
I mean, would it be nice if Apple offered a case like that, like the ones that you were talking about before? Sure. Sure, would it be nice? Sure. Would they ever do it? I doubt it, because one of their biggest draws of getting people to buy certain versions of their phones, or certain price points of their phones and SKUs of their phones, is storage space. So to do that would, at least to a degree, cost them money in that sense. Dang it, come on! Whoa, 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 what the hell? Was that a Ray thing? I've kept trying to go to that fucking intersection and drop my turret, and I just could not do it. Every time I went there, something kept me from being able to do it. I'm pressing the button and nothing's happening.
Opposition contained in the west hangar.
And unless... I also, that's the other thing. I don't see myself spending more money for more storage space for something that I'm just going to be able to stream anyway. Though, you know, back in the day with iTunes originally, you couldn't stream live off the site. You had to download. And in fact, even though TV shows you could re-download again later, You weren't able to do that with most movies on iTunes originally. If you bought a movie on iTunes, downloaded it, and then deleted it, you were just screwed. But then later they retroactively allowed you to get those copies just for streaming, so a lot of the stuff that I thought I was screwed on, now I actually have in my streaming library. And thanks to Movies Anywhere, it's now spread across all those different platforms. Ah. I got a tooth in the front that I damaged years ago that's been fixed a few times. That every once in a while just, I think because of sinus pressure, it stings right in the middle of the bottom of the tooth. It just, Why? Okay, so if you save your movies in an iCloud drive, in order to use them, you will have to stream them from your iCloud drive. So why would you ever put them in your iCloud drive? Because you could just stream them off of Apple's servers. Like, why would you need to set up a place to stream them from when you already have the default way to stream them? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like you're adding a step that's unnecessary. They would act as if they were downloaded? What do you mean they would act as if they were downloaded? And I would imagine, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I would imagine that, let's say you have a movie that's on iTunes, then somehow it gets taken off of iTunes because maybe a licensing agreement falls through. So now you can't download it from or stream it from iTunes anymore. It makes me wonder if they would delete that file or make that file inaccessible to re-download from iCloud anyway, because that is their file essentially as DRM. Because when you buy movies now, digital copies of things, in fact, even sometimes physical copies, the fine print says you're not actually buying the physical thing or that data. You're buying a license to access it that can be revoked or changed at any time.
Take those walkers down if you can.
And well, photos is different because photos is something that you have taken in theory, and you're using iCloud as a backup of your content so you don't lose them. Like, I just lost every single freaking, like, I didn't understand how, like, I never use iCloud. I had no idea how iCloud actually was supposed to work. I thought it worked like a lot of other things like OneDrive did, right? So when I got my new phone, after I had done the backup restore from iCloud that gave me all my pictures and everything from my old phone onto my new phone, I then deleted them all from my old phone thinking I didn't need them there anymore, which then deleted them from iCloud and from my new phone, and I lost everything. Yeah, not a big fan of iCloud. But at least in that case, that is your content, your photos and stuff that it's acting as a backup for, just in case you lose it. But that's because you're not going to be able to just say, hey, iTunes, can I have my pictures? Because iTunes wasn't the creator of your pictures. But if you go to iTunes and say, hey, you know, I bought this movie, I want to be able to stream it from your site, okay. Yeah, my wife swears by Google Photos now. For hers. But yeah, thankfully a lot of those pictures are ones I had already sent to her or already posted wherever they were going to be posted, so it wasn't as big a deal. But I lost, I know, at least a couple of pictures from Star Wars Celebration that I don't think I ever sent a copy of to anybody or posted anywhere, so those are just gone. Let's see. I usually use Dropbox. Now I use OneDrive for most things because that's what we use for work. No, how would it say? You can save space on your phones by having it on iCloud. You can already save space on your phone by not downloading it in the first place, because by not downloading it in the first place, you're streaming it from an Apple server, which is exactly what you're doing if you put it on iCloud. You're streaming it from an Apple server. It's just you put it there instead of them already having it there. It's redundant. Unless you're afraid that that somehow the file of the movie is no longer going to be available for streaming from Apple, it's redundant. You're basically creating your own version of sort of a little mini iTunes to stream it from that isn't necessary. Because it's not on your device. Yeah, that's why when it comes to like collecting, Mike, that's why I still pick up physical copies of a lot of stuff. But when it comes to stuff that I just want to like read once or watch once or whatever, that I don't care whether I actually hang on to a copy or not, then yeah, I'll do that digitally. Like Star Wars books, I still get as physical books, but most other stuff that I just am going to read once and maybe never read again, I'll just get it digitally. Not a biggie. Come on, turret baby, smoke him. Kill him! Kill him! Kill him, Mr. Turret! Kill him! Get to the chopper. Okay, at least it killed him.
Don't die fast.
Okay, then yeah, if you're worried about the file being removed, then yeah, having some other place to put it is a good thing to do. It's just a question of having access to it. I'm not sure I'd stick it on iCloud, though, because if you're worried about it being removed from iTunes, since both are managed by Apple and it's their file with their DRM, there's always a possibility that if something gets removed from the Apple iTunes store, it may also be removed from your iCloud drive, even though those are supposed to be your files. Eventually, I would imagine everything's going to go digital, or pretty much everything is going to go digital. Not everything, but close, because it's just more efficient that way. From a financial standpoint, even if not from a streaming standpoint. But you'd have to get to a point where broadband is more common. Because there are still parts of even the U.S. that don't have, holy crap, that don't have reliable broadband. I actually have never seen, like, I picked up that weapon, I was like, holy crap, because I don't know that I've ever picked up that weapon before. It looked very different than what I was used to. Go.
Walker damaged, yeah!
Walker damaged! Something you would hear in Star Wars and on Walking Dead. The Walker is damaged. Other data. It's going to be other data than just those. Look at your managed data and see what apps are using the most data, especially in instances where you have an app where the version that's on iPad and iPhone may not be the same exact thing, like where it comes to like high resolution textures and stuff like that, perhaps.
Auto guns ready.
Come on, turret, kill somebody. I'm getting killed by the AT-AT. Dang it. Kill somebody. Oh, that is a piece of Y-Wing. Or pieces of Y-Wing. Can't deny it's a pretty game. It's a pretty decent detail. Alright, let's just reset this somewhere else. Who is my prey? That's either Bosk or Matt Lauer. Either way, run. I don't do any kind of movie marathon streams or anything like that because you're begging for copyright violation in those cases. But I do audio commentaries for stuff that can be watched alongside movies. Because then, unless you have the movie audio somehow playing with it, then you're in copyright-free area. In fact, that's why my Patreon, the primary draw for people on my Patreon is that I'm doing audio commentaries for every episode of Clone Wars in chronological order, and then more Star Wars stuff, like I just did Forces of Destiny Volume 1. And they can just listen to that MP3 while watching. But because it's commentary and reaction and stuff like that, and you're not actually hearing or seeing the original product from what I'm providing, then legally it's fine.
But we can repel the infantry. Defend
But
the
you can't just like stream a movie
If we lose war ground, we'll have our backs to the wall.
and show the actual film because you're violating copyright all over the frickin' place. Yeah, I don't know where the hell I was going there because I couldn't, unless it was around the opposite direction, I couldn't figure out how to get back up. Pretty much it had to be death. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. I do it like riff tracks, and I've done it for the I did one for A New Hope. I did one for all 3 prequels. I did one for both Clone Wars micro series DVDs, and this was all years ago. So the information is kind of out of date now. So now I'm doing it for all of Clone Wars and other stuff. But that's the $5 tier on my Patreon. So somebody pledges $5 a month, they get a guaranteed 2 commentaries or more per month. Plus they get a thanks in my monthly project update videos on YouTube, and whenever I finally have a second edition of my my book, A Saga on Home Video, they get a thanks in a special thanks page on there too. It's just for Patreons or Patreon supporters. But then the $10 tier gets people access to an exclusive Q&A that's just a Q&A video series for just questions asked by those people that is only accessible to those people. Yike! In fact, that was actually what I was going to do next, but I guess I'll do that later this week. I was going to record it, but it's already getting kind of dark, and the room that I record in, without sunlight to add to the regular light above, it just looks kind of dingy. So I'll probably just do that tomorrow. So I think the iPhone 10 Plus will feature, I have no idea, because I don't even know what's available for the iPhone 10. The fact that I upgraded to a 7 was a miracle, and that was really only because of Jedi challenges requiring a bigger phone than what I had. So we're a long way off from me considering a 10, or really looking into a 10, or 10 Plus. Yeah, I mean, if you try to show somebody else's content, unless you fit it within the fair use guidelines, you're violating copyright. It's gonna be gone. My Southerner just came out there. It's gonna be gone. Not it's going to be gone, or it's gonna be gone, but it's gonna be gone. It's fitting to be gone. Bruh. Different type of Southern, but it's all Atlanta, so I think it counts. Cool. I'm sticking with my 7 as long as I can because that thing was expensive. I'd actually just gotten a 5S relatively recently. Actually, my wife had gotten it for me.
Skywalker, standing by.
But just when we got Jedi Challenges, the realization that Jedi Challenges does not work well with a screen that's, or a phone with a screen that's less than 4.7 inches meant either barely being able to use Jedi Challenges or upgrade the phone. So we did the phone upgrade. But like she still uses her old Android phone for things. I'll still use the 5S for things. It's just not, you know, anything that requires phone connection or cellular service. Yeah, headphone jack thing does get me. Like, it's not too bad when it comes to just putting in the lightning connector and listening through those headphones, or the lightning connector with the adapter and listening through regular headphones. Not a big deal. What hits me is when you're trying to charge it or connect it to something and use audio at the same time. So like when I play Jedi Challenges, I have to plug the phone into the headset, the AR headset, with the lightning connector. But that also means I can't plug in a set of headphones while I play, because now the lightning connector that would be for headphones is now taken up by connecting to the headset. So I would have to use a pair of Bluetooth headphones if I'm going to listen on headphones when playing Jedi Challenges to get the full 3D audio, which I actually haven't even bothered to try yet. I need to get somewhere and drop the turret. I keep like looking for opportunities. It's like I'm still thinking in disruption terms instead of turret terms. Killer! Iden Versio must die! Yes, there's one. Eliminated somebody. Oh yeah! I was tempted to get some of those what do they call them, ear pods or whatever that they do, or whatever, the little like wireless version that looks like their old earphones except wireless. The problem for me with that is that, damn it, is that, my primary time of actually listening with earphones, unless I'm like playing a game or something, like I'll explain that in a second with the game at night. But my primary way of using earphones to listen to anything off of my phone has mostly been when I'm mowing. And I don't want to have a little earbud type thing with no wire on it that could fall out of my ear and wind up getting destroyed by the lawnmower and costing me, you know, a crap ton of money, which sucks. So I much prefer a wired thing, or I've got a, I can actually show you here since I'm not plugged into anything. The thing I actually use usually is, digging it out of my drawer here. Since I haven't mowed in a while, it's just kind of sitting there. Come on. It is all tangled up, of course, with other wires. Yes! There we go. This thing! Here we go. This is what I use now when I mow, or when I want to listen to something on Bluetooth. Because you can hook it up to the Bluetooth, you stick it in like... like this, and it's on the back of your head with the controls back there. Which is decent enough, but I'd still prefer something that's better form-fitting to my ears than that. Return to the front! Stop going to the back! Damn, I'm just... It's right freaking there. Oh, shit!
Correct your course.
And I would have killed him if when I pressed the damn button to drop the turret, it had dropped the freaking turret. But instead, I pressed the button, and nothing happens. About a third of the time I press the turret drop button, nothing happens. And it doesn't give me a "you can't do it here" notification. It just doesn't do it. But yes, so I was saying about the whole earphones thing, how I do it now. Like, if it's nighttime, and I want to play some Battlefront to get in some progress and maybe get myself some crates or something, or work on a milestone, and my wife is sleeping, what I'll do is I'll put in one headphone. I'll grab a regular set of earbuds from my old iPhone, plug it in here, listen on one ear from the PlayStation, but then I'll grab my phone, plug in another set of headphones, and listen with one ear to stream from the Sirius XM app. And usually I'm listening to the Michael Smirkanish program, because that's about 3 hours, but then you take out all the commercials and everything. So about an hour and a half to 2 hours or whatever. And I can listen to that and get in a whole bunch of matches, and it doesn't feel like it's monotonous just playing match after match of the same type of thing.
I'm on my way.
Kill, turret! Kill, kill, kill! Kill! Please kill. And my turret's gone. And didn't kill anybody.
Split up. Defend the other 2 points.
I'm Versio must notice when I actually try to do something other than turrets, kill. Nice. But I usually don't even think that way. I'm usually trying to do the freaking milestone like that one. We know their last target. Beats headphones seem to be expensive, aren't they? But I might. Depends on how likely they are to fall off my ear. I don't do any kind of wireless hard drive stuff. I don't have a need for it at this point. Between OneDrive and cloud storage versus the many external hard drives that I have, it just hasn't been necessary. My wife just texting me and confirming our plans for next week if we wind up doing what she wants to do. My wife loves, for some reason, so we don't even usually buy much of anything, to go see it's a place called Babyland General Hospital. It's where Cabbage Patch dolls come from. And it's freaky as hell. Like, they could make a horror movie about that place. But she loves going back every year, and it's about an hour, 2 hours drive away from here. So apparently next week we are going to take a drive to Babyland again. But that's okay, because last time we were there, it was around Christmas time, and we got my wife one of their exclusive Cabbage Patches, and that Cabbage Patch is named Jyn Erso, because you have to pick a name. So at least we can share in our nerddom, because she likes doing the Star Wars names for them most of the time. She's also a big Build-A-Bear Star Wars person. Like, we were excited because when I looked at the Build-A-Bear stuff the other day, there are like 3 Build-A-Bear Star Wars things she actually doesn't have now. There's a Rey, there's a new Chewbacca, she's got the old Chewbacca, and there's a Captain Phasma. We're like, finally we find some new stuff I can get for her for like Christmas and stuff, and know what to get because it's obvious. No idea how long I'm streaming though, actually. I usually look over and see the clock over there, but I've got my comic box in front of it from where I took one of my many comic boxes down to start putting Star Wars stuff on my Excel file. 6:42, I'll probably do maybe another half hour, give or take. Just depends.
We will claim our rightful prisoners by taking control of this area,
Run!
meter by meter, starting at the outer memorial.
Ooh, those things give me bad memories of Zelda Breath of the Wild and having to light fires and keep them lit as you're running a torch from place to place on some idiot crusade. Some damn fool idealistic crusade. Ah!
We have turret defenses.
Oh! That turret's not doing me any good there. Okay, let's keep going. Damn it, it didn't, again, I pressed the fucking button and it did not deploy. And it didn't give me anything telling me I couldn't deploy it, it just didn't deploy. Nope, nobody cares, they're all gone. They're like, screw it. This guy's talking about Cabbage Patches and shit. I don't even want to be in the chat now, man. Game over, I'm bailing on that crap. Oh! Did the turret actually deploy or not? I can't even tell.
I'll support you.
I'll support you. What if I don't want your support, lady? Is it just me or does she look like she should be a Weasley? Like, that's Ginny Weasley or something. It just seemed odd to me.
Grenade deployed.
And get up there and drop it and go. There we go. That time she deployed it.
Today we achieve greatness.
Today we achieve greatness, or at least something close to it, right? Hey, EK. Oh! Shot to the back, and I'm to blame. I have no honor, a damn shame. Here we go. Get them turret kills. Come on, get them. Damn it. Get damn daggone turret kills. But look how fast it refreshes though. That refresh time is nice with that refresh card and the upgraded version of the turret, of the improved turret. I kind of want to see if I can make it go even faster by upgrading those two, because those two I would actually use for the officer in the long term, as opposed to it just being a card that I would only use for a short time while trying to get the milestone. Do I think Ginny drugged Harry with love potion? I doubt it. But, you know. Ron Weasley be like, Harry, it's almost like you're part of the family, and then finds out that Ron is seeing his sister or that Harry's seeing his sister, and Harry be like, well, it's like you said, if you can't keep it in the pants, keep it in the family.
Victory is our destiny. Grenade ready.
Our officer's good. They're all right. It's not my favorite, but I'm working on the milestones for the officer right now, so, you know, good enough. And they all just play a little different. Like, my favorites are probably I would say probably officer is my least favorite of them, because I don't like playing a support class usually. I much prefer taking a more active role. But for a support class, they're all right. They've got the flash grenades, which I'm not a big fan of. But at least you have control over when they actually split and detonate. It's a second button press. Battle command is all right. At least it also affects you too. So it's a buff for you also. The disruption ability, I hate, but I just finished the milestone with it finally, so thankfully now I'll never probably have to use it again. The turret is pretty decent. The fact that you've always got access to a turret is pretty cool. And I love this is the second gun you get available, or the first one that you unlock, which is basically a sniper rifle turned into a pistol, which is pretty sweet. And I think it's going to be even better once I get it up to, I think it's 150 kills or whatever it is, so I can get the double zoom on it, because it doesn't look like much like this, but when you're in first person, it's that kind of zoom, and you can do a double zoom with it, which will be friggin' sweet.
Same as always.
No, you're not. I guess what's happening is I'm doing an animation cancel, as they call it in a fighting game. Like, I'm trying to release a grenade, or I'm trying to release a turret, but what's happening is as soon as I do it, I'm trying to roll out of the way, and the roll is canceling the deployment animation, which is stopping the deployment from happening. I'm assuming that's what's happening. I have no idea, because I have no idea about extended Harry Potter or anything. Like, I don't follow it that closely. I've seen the name extended on a home video release sitting in a store. That's about the extent of my Harry Potter extended version knowledge. I just don't follow it. Oh, in the face! I would say, how do you like me now? But I think I already know you think I'm a douche. Oh, shit! Almost got stuck in another freaking tree.
The resistance transport has launched.
In the 4K set it is? Extended?
All of this was a waste.
Let's find out. Here we are. Are they extended versions? Yes, it is, but it's for those two. Yeah, so Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, it says extended version. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets extended version. But in both cases, it's Blu-ray only. The 4K version is just the theatrical cut of it. And then it doesn't say anything specific about the other ones, so I'm assuming the other ones aren't. But yeah, I do like the set, by the way, the 4K set. You got basically, you open it up, you have separate large packaging for the 4K and the Blu-ray versions of them. So if you want to travel with one of them, you don't have to necessarily take the whole box. You can just grab whichever one is the size you're going to use. If you are looking at 4K, by the way, I would highly suggest, instead of just buying a 4K player, pick up an Xbox One S or X, because at least you'll get the game functionality out of it too. Unfortunately, you can't play 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs on a PlayStation 4 Pro. But if you like gaming in 4K, you can do that on a PlayStation 4 Pro, or you can do that on an Xbox One X. Not so much the S. S can sort of upscale. But definitely make sure if you get PlayStation VR that you get the newer version that either comes with Skyrim VR or comes with Doom VFR. Otherwise, the processor box won't allow HDR pass-through, the high dynamic range stuff. EK, your guess is as good as mine. As far as like the original films, who knows? But at least they probably could with those versions of it. But then, as far as like new films, I would expect that The Last Jedi will probably be the first Star Wars film to see 4K release, because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Spider-Man both did, even though Spider-Man's kind of a joint venture with Sony. But Disney hadn't made any forays into 4K at all until Guardians of the Galaxy, and that sort of hopefully opens the floodgates of them wanting to do that kind of content. Physical home release content. Oh yeah! Oh, and they both got blown up. Mine and the other guys. Grenade! I really need to watch that again. I have not seen Top Secret in years.
First order troops seizing the area.
You know, with Val Kilmer and all.
I got you back.
Grenade! And they're, the member of the Resistance, Latrine. Whenever he comes back all injured. Latrine! Go, go, go! Aha!
They're praying it away, gang. Don't let it happen.
Gang? Is that supposed to be Corsella that's talking, I wonder? Because it looks like Corsella when they show the little image up in the corner. Or looks similar to her.
Look, just get out of
Do I have Harry Potter on DVD? No. Unless it's something that I collect, I generally, if I buy a new version,
We're doing fine.
you know, if I upgrade from DVD to Blu-ray or Blu-ray to 4K or whatever, I take the old copies and I usually either sell them or more often I just stick them into a box and I take them to my family when I visit to see if anybody wants them. A lot of my recent stuff that I upgraded to 4K, though, I sent the Blu-rays to Mark recently from Star Wars Beyond the Films. He bought my old regular Xbox One from me. So I put in some games and I put in a bunch of those things just to give them some more stuff to watch because I wasn't doing anything with them. You know, he and his kids would probably get more use out of them than I would. Yeah, Pablo is fun. Pablo's a good guy. Whoa! I didn't even see him coming out of the woodwork. Literally coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith in 4K would be pretty. I mean, any of the Star Wars films in 4K would be nice. From a level of detail, and at least if it's the 2011 cuts of the Lucas films, they probably are able to use those masters to actually make it happen.
Get the bomb off the west turbo laser.
Even if you can't do unaltered, and I'm not going to go into that whole thing again, because it seems like we talk about that in detail every single time we do a stream. But suffice to say, it's out there. Scheiße. Oh, aw, dang it. He was just sitting there, and I missed my opportunity to pop him in the head.
Throwing grenade.
Of course, I also missed my opportunity to pop him in the head a couple times there just because I suck. Go.
We're out of time.
Nice. I think mine does too, actually. Somebody added those into the file. Like multiple things in it.
Ready to move.
Yeah, I actually have that original commentary from when they first put it up on StarWars.com. I downloaded it back then, so I've got it like as an MP3 file. I think it's MP3.
I'll show you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's the guy that sent it to me. So if anybody knows how to get him, he'll know. He'll be able to actually help you. You know, if you need somebody to actually put him on a disc for you, so you can actually watch it in a player. Leave my friends. Aw, shit. As soon as I'm frozen, I'm screwed.
Save the west turbo laser.
3, 2, 1. He says, yawning as he's like, uh-oh, and it's gone.
Looting people now. Go.
Oh, no.
Head to the castle. We'll figure things out there.
Have fun storming the castle. How about
Last
right
chance then.
freaking
Transport
here?
shuttles and systems, so we don't need to hold the order off forever. We just can't let the stormtroopers seize more ground. Got it? Good.
Get it? Got it? Good. I'm gonna leave that there for now. I'm trying to remember how. There we go. Yeah, how to get upstairs. Because if you get up to the roof and place a turret on the roof, it's pretty freaking effective. As long as you put it in the right spot on the roof. Try to do it here. Uh-oh, grenade. Grenade!
Enemy force inside the castle!
Into battle.
They're not invincible. They can't be beaten.
Oh, son of a bitch! Who shot me? Oh no, it's Kylo that did it.
Let's do this.
Not sure. I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't think, because as many times as I've switched storage media, I'm not sure if my version will still have the original release date of the commentary on it or not. Off the top of my head. And yeah, we're very close. Also very close to the end of classes for my students for this semester, which is nice. There we go! Smoke them!
We're losing ground!
Uh-oh! Uh-oh! I am stuck in... Hello? Oh, shit! Oh, if I would have killed him, that would have been great, but I missed. Nice. We're going to, we're doing 9:30 on the 14th, because around here, a lot of the early showings wind up being the day before, but they start as early as like 7 o'clock. But my wife works until 8, or well, 7:30. So she'll get home at like 8, and then we'll hightail it to the movie theater for the 9:30 showing. We've got our tickets and everything. It just doesn't feel, I mean, I guess because we're older now, so we don't go with a big group of people. It's just my wife and I. It doesn't feel quite the same as, you know, like back in 97, I was in high school, and my buddies and I went to go see the special editions each day on release day at the first showing of a matinee. And we actually were, because we never cut school, we never cut class or anything like that, and had almost perfect attendance, basically. Our parents were like, oh, you want to go see that? Sure, we'll call you in sick for that day. We'll help you play hooky that one, you know, for those 3 days because you love these films so much and you're otherwise rocking it in school. So, so we did that, and that was kind of a thing because we went, you know, we kind of made a day out of it. We went to go eat lunch together. We all went to go see the film and that sort of thing. And then we did kind of a special thing for Phantom Menace, because I want to say that Phantom Menace was, I think it was Phantom Menace, was the first movie, the first big name movie that came to a brand new theater that opened that I eventually actually worked at for a few years. So we got a chance to go and, you know, kind of experience that early on with the group. But we just haven't done the group thing to get that charged energy dynamic. And you don't get the same thing as like people showing up in costume and stuff like that at where we go as you would in like downtown Atlanta. Because we go to the Tinseltown Cinemark theater in Fayetteville, Georgia, which is still Atlanta Metro, but it's like the south end of Atlanta Metro, and and there's a couple of different theaters you can go to down there. So it doesn't get quite that kind of crowd much. Lots of cops, but not a lot of people in costume. Yep. Well, I mean, it's like they said, like with talking to, among others, like John Jackson Miller, about how they're not really trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to Star Wars. That, you know, a lot of the species will still be the same, a lot of the planets will still be the same. It's the events and the circumstances that often will be what changes. Whew. Cool. Yeah, I went to see Force Awakens. I mean, Force Awakens was just me and my wife. Rogue One was me and my wife, but then I did take my dad and stepmom when they... can't remember if they were visiting here or if I was visiting them. But we went to see Rogue One, which was cool because they hadn't seen a Star Wars movie in a theater in ages. And I recall it being interesting that they didn't realize that Tarkin... That they didn't realize Peter Cushing had died and that Tarkin was a digital recreation. because they're just not as up on that stuff as I am, because they don't tend to follow Star Wars stuff. So, and I'm gonna say Episode 7 had elements recreated from A New Hope on purpose, as J.J. Abrams talked about both at the time and since, to give that sense of immediate familiarity and get people immediately back into the universe. Though there are elements that are different enough that I would not say it was a remake, but there are a lot of lifted elements. I am reserving judgment on 8, but from what we're seeing, it sure doesn't seem like 8 is going to be a rehash of Empire. Cool. Yeah, international releases are confounding sometimes, especially in this day and age where you know a bootleg copy of the film will show up on torrents very quickly. That you still have a lot of staggered release stuff that would cause some places, some countries to be more prone to bootlegging it rather than going to see it legitimately. The internet has kind of made that more pervasive, it seems like. Go, 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 drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it! And it didn't. Probably because I was trying to do the roll thing and it probably canceled it. Crap. Here we go. Eliminate any threats to the MTTs. At least at the MTTs, like MTTS rather than an METS, because if we had to eliminate any threat to the Mets, we'd be here all day because they suck. Says the guy who's, you know, in the Atlanta area and a fan of the Braves who just cheated the shit out of their recruitment process and got penalized in a way that's going to make their team garbage for years to come right after building a new stadium. But yeah, that's just me. Ah, video rental days. The days of video rentals and dubbing and so forth. Back when dubbing was not dabbing and... Yeah, I don't know. I was going to make a dabbing joke and I don't care enough about dabbing to make even a joke, I don't think.
Incoming disruptor fire.
You see Harrison Ford break the Falcon? Oh, the toy one? Yeah, or the whatever it was. Yep. Incoming fire! I do like the fact that you can pick up your turret, so if you don't want to wait for the regeneration to move it, you can just grab it and go. Oh shit! Oh shit! I just got promoted! Uh-oh! Smoke him when he comes back around, will ya? I got shit to do. Unless that guy jumps out, he really has nowhere to go, right? I mean... Yeah? Nope, okay. Back up! Let's get up on the roof. Up on the rooftop, battle droid calls. Down comes good old death from above. It's actually not going to help because it doesn't seem like they're really coming this direction that much. I need to get further along before I do that. Let's see. I missed the thing about CGI Thrawn, so you may have to ask that again. Prequel special edition with consistent droid voices. Preferably by the Clone Wars. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by consistent droid voices. Aren't they the same? I mean, they're the same voice actor. I think it's Matthew Wood for the droids in all the battle droids in all of the prequels and in the Clone Wars. It's the same dude. Unless you mean like their attitude and the way they talk. Like, I just got promoted, and some of the more humorous or humorless, as the case may be, things that they say in the Clone Wars versus the films.
The multi-troop transports are crossing.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and they pretty much said from the jump that they don't want, and this is years ago even, they don't see themselves doing adaptations of existing material for films, because you'd want to have an original story for a film, so that would include the Thrawn trilogy. But that said, it's funny that they say that, because you think about it, And they did that a couple of times with Clone Wars to some extent. Usually with something that was originally created as a script that wound up becoming a comic that was then adapted back into a script again. Oh, shit! Now, what happens to my turret if I die? Does the turret stay there? If only you all could see this game the way that I see it when I play off stream. Since you can't stream in HDR or stream 4K. Because I can, basically, if I want to have a stream that doesn't buffer constantly and only does it every once in a while, pretty much it has to be 720, and that's it. Like I said, it's like a sniper pistol. If I can frickin' hit anything. See if I can get somewhere where I'll be able to get a good good spot for my turret. Oh, nope. I don't think their voices are different so much as they're not they don't try to give them personality or anything, it seems like in Phantom Menace.
Ion damage to one transport.
Run! I was saying, is that a B2 behind me? Because somebody's on my ass. Run! Battle droid's like, to Nam. It's like you're out here and it's like dun, 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 and then you get in here and it's like bum 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 bow 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 bow. It's like all of a sudden you go from John Williams to Jimi Hendrix in like 2 seconds flat as you walk into the jungle of Kashyyyk. Yeah, I mean, they really didn't have a choice. It's when it comes to it. It's just that the biggest thing, unfortunately, just doesn't work. Like, you know, which is the Clone Wars, like you were saying. You know, that's the one area that they never gave a satisfactory retcon for. I'm not sure if they could have made one, but it's like as soon as it came time for them to start working on story group canon stuff, it was like, ah, never mind. Remember those promises where we said it would all actually make sense and fit together eventually? Don't worry about it. We kidding. Where is my turret anyway? It must still be sitting somewhere I deployed it because it had that white symbol. White and blue. I'm sure there already are Star Wars cultural classes available. Like, I know there's films of George Lucas classes, and there are Star Wars classes that you could take with some, like, online, like, is it Midgard Institute? Is that what it's called? Mythgard Institute? Something.
Roger.
Something like that offers it. If you really want, if you're into Star Wars home video and you really want to take like a master's class in US home video, you definitely ought to check out my book. See what I did there? Hey, it's a box. And all this cool Star Wars technology, and you got a box that looks like it just fell off the back of a
Threat level maximum.
A real life backhoe or something. Oh! Here we go.
Transport hit. Circuit shorting.
Have battle droids running through here. Be like, you're like, it's the clones. Wouldn't you like to be my neighbor? Roger, Mr. Rogers. Let's see. Do I prefer December release or May release? You know, honestly, it's kind of hard to say. From the standpoint of being able to do year in review podcasts, it helps to have them in May instead of December, because then you can start doing your year in review podcasts and recording them right before the end of the year instead of having to really wait, which is what we're running into with Beyond the Films. I used to prefer. If I was in a traditional classroom, I probably would have said December. But what winds up happening now is it doesn't really matter because, well, it depends, I guess. It depends on when they do the May release. It's a question of timing for me, right? As far as where does it fall within the semester for my students? Because even though, you know, I'm going to watch the movie in the evening, because I teach online, I try to, you know, if I can, still leave the system up and check every now and then in the evening, too. And even though there's no obligation to do that, no requirement, no actual expectation. Well, that's lovely and all, except for the fact, of course, that this time, the release that we're going to at 9:30 on the 14th is at 9:30 on the night before our students have their final day of being able to access their classes. It'd be nice if it was a little bit earlier than that or a little bit later than that, so that it wasn't a matter of saying on the night before the end, hey, sometimes I'm available on nights after our closing time officially, but I won't be able to on the night before the last day. Just kind of a pain in the butt in that sense. 2018 with that, you know, honestly, I don't know. I haven't been paying that much attention to the constantly changing stream of release dates, it seems like, or launch dates for films. Kill him!
Demolition protocols online. Bomb set on the West Juggernaut.
Ah, there you go. So, yeah, so for you guys, it's summer vacation. For us, it's middle of winter. Oh.
A new ally has landed.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's interesting. I always say that, you know, and a lot of times the way that somebody feels about, say, the prequels versus the originals and that sort of thing, a lot of it depends on, like, what actually got them into Star Wars in the first place. Like, we tend to try to portray things as if somehow there's this universal, everybody likes this or everybody hates this, and it's not. It's a generational thing. It's what got you into Star Wars. It's that sort of thing that makes all the difference. So, Solo set for May. Gotcha. Be like, hey, The Last Jedi's out in theaters now, so are you excited for Han Solo? No. It's going to take a lot to get me excited for the Han Solo movie. I still don't see why that even exists. Let's go, right? Oh, shit! Alright, it's already blown up. I guess we can move on to the other one. I just wasn't paying attention. I never actually walked up here after the explosion, though. Damn. It done tore it up! Yeah, you run, you chicken walking. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Well, probably. Dun 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 dun. There we go. I do that, and it's funny because you're talking about like taking Star Wars and sort of mixing it with other things. So my at our wedding, my wife and I wanted to have certain Star Wars elements in our wedding. So, like, one of the things we had was, you know how sometimes you do those unity candles where you each light the candles, then you light the one together? we actually, instead of doing that, did a sand thing where you each have a different color of sand and you pour it together into a thing, and then you just pour it together and it kind of mixes. We had a small vial of sand from actually where they filmed the Tatooine sequences of A New Hope that we put into that sand and then put our sand in it. But then we also, when my wife was walking down the aisle, we had the music change. So, like, I did a custom music thing from a couple of songs that I had picked up on iTunes, basically. And it was, you know, like, Here Comes the Bride, so it's and as soon as it hits that point that it's dum 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 dum, and the freaking Imperial March gets going as she walks the rest of the way to where we're getting married. We did an outdoor thing, so it wasn't an aisle per se, but yeah, so we have like Here Comes the Bride mixed with Imperial March for our wedding. Which, my goodness, was almost 5 years ago now.
Squad assignment accepted.
I would love it, though, if at some point in the Han Solo movie, even if it's just a musical cue, like a musical callback that has no dialogue or no lyrics, if they use the I'm feeling so low thing from the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special, just like an instrumental background thing. I'm feeling so low. Or heck, for that matter, I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo from Connect Star Wars, except that's going to be less of a thing because that's based on an actual song.
B1 unit activated.
Why did it start me so far away? Damn. But I actually like the parody songs that they did for Connect Star Wars. I'm Han Solo. Princess in a Bottle was all right, but Naturally, which I guess is Selena Gomez or something. I found the original song like months months later. But the song Naturally is a great was done really, really well for that. Probably is my favorite of the parody songs on Connect Star Wars. But then Phineas and Ferb is like their stuff is pretty cool. Like now when I finish watching A New Hope, I think Rebel Let's Go with that song as opposed to the regular ending music. Ah. How often do I pop in and watch Star Wars in general? If you're talking the films, not actually all that often.
I have been waiting.
I wouldn't even say once a month. But I'm so immersed in it in every other respect that I don't even really think about that. There we go. Oh, run! Mother!
You know my price.
Drop it! Drop the damn turret! Freaking A! Pressing the button and nothing. Nothing!
Roger, roger.
See, now I've got that force comes naturally in my head now. Yeah, I can't really play it right now unless we switch it between rooms because I've got my my Star Wars themed Xbox 360 from actually when that game was first released, the limited edition thing. I've got that set up, but it's set up in my Star Wars office, sort of Star Wars collection room / office, and there's just not room to set up the Kinect in there.
Roger, roger.
I can set it up in here, but there's not really room for it because this room's got the TV, the soundbar, the PS4 Pro, the PSVR, the Xbox One S, the processor box for the PSVR, the Apple TV, the Roku, all that stuff's set up in here. So there's just not room or plugs available for the 360 unless I unplug other stuff. I thought it looked pretty, the young Leia effect looked pretty good. It's one of those things that looks a little uncanny valley when you first see it, but I don't think it's as believable as the Tarkin is, but they also didn't need it for as long as they needed Tarkin. Republic has a new ally. And it's Ally Bank, where you can get auto loans, like where my wife has her auto loan through. Thanks, new ally. Yeah, it's funny when with Tarkin, like when we first see Tarkin in Rogue One and he's facing the viewport. I figured that was all we were gonna see. It'd just be like a little bit of a reflection of him, so that you could just sort of fake it without needing to really heavily CG it. But then he turns around, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was blown away once he turned around. Richard, Richard, I'll tell you, I think it depends on, and it depends, to some degree it's a demographic thing, but yeah, I would agree that, at least as far as like super into Star Wars, like a lot of people will go see the films and enjoy them, but not necessarily consider themselves Star Wars fans and delve further into it. But I think that I'm a little, like, I wonder, I'd have to ask amongst my students to see who is actually a Star Wars fan, because when I taught in the traditional classroom, I was in a classroom that was like, I was in a school that was like 80 to 85% African American, then most of the rest Hispanic, very small number of white students, Asian students, Middle Eastern students. And you tend to see that there's a demographic difference a lot of times. If you take racial demographics and then you add in socioeconomic, and a lot of these were it's a Title I school, so a lot of lower social demographic stats. There are correlations you can find with who's into what more often and what pop cultural things will jump out. And I just wasn't in a school where the stars aligned, so to speak, to have a lot of Star Wars fans per se. Whereas I think now, because of teaching online, there's a much broader swath of socioeconomic classes, a much broader racial swath to be able to sort of look at. I think it's much more representative of society as a whole than where I used to teach. So I wonder if I would see different numbers of you know, like students actually finding an interest in Star Wars this way than otherwise. And I bet I probably would. But my experience with that is not really a particularly good barometer, just because of how very demographically skewed the school I taught for years was. Like, I can't speak for any particular area that's not reminiscent of that one from a demographic standpoint. Damn it! Drop the fucking turret! Drop it, drop it. Drop the turret! I can't deploy! What's wrong? Roger, Mr. Rogers. Oh! I haven't even been paying attention to my numbers. I bet you I could have grabbed a hero just then, but didn't. Did I ever use Star Wars for history? Sometimes I would use like a metaphor to it, but in my traditional classes, it wasn't something you could usually use very much because not everybody would have that pop cultural reference to be able to understand the reference. Now, I've used it for training teachers because everybody kind of knows the do or do not, there is no try thing, at least. So halfway there for that one. So what I would wind up doing is, like I had a thing that's as we were beginning a training session, it was like, do or do not, there is no try. But then I would grab the clip from Rebels, where it's like, what does that even mean? I don't know, but Yoda used to say it a lot. Well, I don't want the best teacher, I want you. I mean, you know, and it was the whole thing about, you know, you may fail, I may fail, but there is no try. Right? Like, I'm not going to try, I'm going to teach you, and all that kind of stuff. And I would use that for the idea that if anybody came into the room not sure of themselves, of whether they could do this job of being a mentor to younger teachers, that, you know, be assured we wouldn't have let you into this room if we didn't have complete faith that you could do that, right? That just just do as opposed to try, and we have faith that you'll be able to pull it off. Which seemed to go over well. Let's see, do I have enough to buy? Well, no, because I don't want to buy any friggin' crates if we're going to have to spend actual credits on Phasma and Finn here in a couple weeks, or a week and a half, or whatever it is. Be nice, Henry, if we saw Rebels do that same kind of dovetail into the beginning of Rogue One, but I don't see it happening. But I do like the way that it does that. I kind of wish that we had a chance to see the Clone Wars arc that was meant to dovetail directly into Revenge of the Sith, with Ahsoka on Mandalore and all that, but unfortunately all we really have from that is a few things Dave Filoni has said and the flashbacks in the Ahsoka novel. Grab an ion disruptor and tear it apart. Anakin, your ion disruptor is tearing me apart. Drop the damn turret. Damn. Press the button, nothing. Press the button, nothing. Press the button. No, you can't deploy here. Just deploy the end thing, you stupid piece of crap. Whoa! Oh, shot him in the face. At least I damaged him. I don't feel that bad.
Let's do this.
Oh, let's do this. Yes, let's do this. This will probably be my last one on the stream because I just realized that it's past the 2-hour mark. 7:27. Oh, and Chicago's playing. LA Kings versus Chicago, looks like. Cool. I didn't realize they were playing again tonight. The fact that I am so eager to watch hockey blows my freaking mind, by the way. I never would have said that until my wife got me into it. Now I'm like, oh, they're playing, so I'll watch even if she's not home. What has gotten into me? What is wrong with me? I am an American, not a Canadian. Why do I want to watch hockey so badly? Whoa! Especially, of course, the irony of the fact that now I'm getting into hockey a couple of years or a few years after the Atlanta area lost the Thrashers. Like the second or third time Atlanta's had a NHL team that moved away because it's just not enough of a draw in the Atlanta area. We got a whatever you call the second tier, like minor league-ish version of a hockey team. We've got one of those, but we don't have the NHL team anymore. Eliminated, that's the same guy that killed me a moment ago. Aussie Wheels. Aussie Wheels. Aussie Wheels. Oh, I get it. I get it. Aussie Wheels. Those are the things that are on the crazy train, right? Even if it is going off the rails on a crazy train, I mean, it's still going to have wheels, doesn't it? Going off the rails on this Aussie train. Mighty Ducks. Never seen them. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that I've heard the term Rogering used as a sexual term. So, how much Roger could Roger if Roger could Roger? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of sexual innuendo in there. They did make those books, though. They didn't connect it to Star Wars like they were going to. It wound up becoming, was it Alien Chronicles, I guess? Ah! Yeah, Richard, I want to say that when I did my like on this YouTube channel, I did a vlog. I want to say the title of it was something on the lines of like the first real Star Wars movie since Return of the Jedi or something like that. And it went into that a little bit because I think that made a big difference in how people were viewing that question. Why did Anakin turn to the dark side? Because he wanted to save Padme. Because he loved Padme and could not live without her and had never learned how to deal with letting go of attachment, so he was willing to do pretty much anything to be able to save her. Though I would add that if you read the Matthew Stover novelization, that gives you, as I say, a Stover effect, which is my term coined on Beyond the Films, I think it was, for reading a spin-off or an adaptation and having it give you a new appreciation for another major media item. It was also because of the fact that if you are on the Jedi Council and you have the rank of Master, then you have access to certain parts of the Jedi archives with teachings that otherwise aren't available, and that's where he actually thought he would find teachings that might help him save Padme. But yeah, not so much. The weird Chinese bootleg comic. That doesn't ring a bell. Might need to be a little more specific. Yeah, we, thankfully, I guess, you know, not having the Thrashers, who are now the Jets, is sort of okay, because then I would feel torn on who to root for. My wife is a big Blackhawks fan, so she's got me to be a Blackhawks fan as well. She actually drove like 7 hours with a friend of hers recently to go to a Blackhawks game in Raleigh, North Carolina. She was going to just take the 4-hour drive to Nashville to see him play the Predators, but there wasn't a... they didn't have the tickets available early enough for her to be able to get off, so there wasn't a way for her to pull that off. She actually... it's kind of strange. It was Star Wars Celebration where she first got me into watching hockey at all. We were in the hotel at Celebration after watching a bunch of the panels that we didn't get in to see on YouTube, and we wound up watching some of the finals that the Blackhawks were playing in.
Ready another volley.
There at the hotel. Interesting. Well, we certainly see that as a possibility, right? In Infinity's Return to the Jedi, where you have the white armored Darth Vader as a Jedi. So in at least one reality, he did. I'm just like running from house to house for no reason. I should probably actually go put a turret out so I can maybe get some of these turret kills that I need. Oh, shit!
For the honor of our brothers!
For the order of our brothers! First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Wow, he's attacking Kennedy Space Center. That is weird. That's kind of like that game from, was it Namco, the video game for the Famicom? Not the Nintendo Entertainment System over here, but like the equivalent of it in Japan, that had like Darth Vader turning into a scorpion and shit.
Multi-troop transport taking ion fire.
Is there a job with something to do with home video history?
More than that. Again.
You could write a book on it like I did, but I don't think there's actually a job for that unless you work for like the National Film Archives or something, and even then that's more theatrical film than it is home video stuff.
MCT power fluctuating.
Or maybe become a professional reviewer of that sort of thing for something like High Def Digest.
Can be hurt. Ion disruptor on target. MCT hit. Drop back and rearm. Next squad forward.
Yeah, I've seen that one. And I've actually played an emulator of that one, that game. It's freaking awful. Not that the original Nintendo version of A New Hope was all that great anyway, but it's better than the Namco one. The JVC one was better than the Namco one. Son of a bitch! Freaking deploy it! Just deploy it! Damn! Oh, I'll keep that in mind. You're talking about the Chinese bootleg, I'm assuming, not the. Since we kind of jumped also to the Namco thing, but the Namco thing wasn't a bootleg. It just sucked. It was garbage. It was garbage. As they say in France, it was garbage. Oh shit!
For the Republic!
For England, James? No, for me.
Turret ready.
Oh, cool! The turret is attacking the. I didn't realize the turret would actually attack the MTT. And now that it can't, it's attacking elsewhere. That's pretty sweet. What in the? At the light show. You'll be right in the front row. As I blatantly rip off one of my favorite bands there, Hailstorm. Oh, for frack's sake, just die. Just die already. Ah! Dead.
Let's go.
Go. JL, I think I've answered that before, but honestly, I can't recall right at the moment, unless it's the original "Go for Papa Palpatine" kind of thing. Although I like the portrayal of Boba Fett, it's more realistic, I think, than Clone Wars Boba Fett in some respects. Yeah, I'm Boba Fett, yeah, and it turns out to be a complete, you know, useless piece of crap. Oh shit! 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 I thought it was gonna run over me.
Unidentified enemy deploying to the field.
Pick up my turret. What the hell's an aluminum falcon? You got an ATM on that torso, light bright? I almost feel like that's how the Emperor should be in Pre-Maker Adventures.
We aren't ready for the fire that comes next.
Unidentified enemy. That's no droid.
Run!
Multi-troop transport taking ion fire.
Alright, yeah, just definitely be the last one. Wife is gonna hit Walmart and head home in a little bit, which means finally dinner time. Not because she makes it, but because we prefer to eat together if we can, because there are so many times during the week that we don't get a chance to.
Hold back and regroup.
Let's see.
Not ready to board the cruiser yet. They'll need to get past our juggernaut.
Yeah. I mean, you did get a lot of the design off the holiday special that was even used in other media as well, because it was the one time we'd seen it. Although thankfully they changed it from Kazook to Kashyyyk, and nobody calls it Kazook anymore, because that was just dumb. Yeah, I didn't even know the Flames, or whatever they were, Mike, existed, or had existed as an Atlanta team until my wife mentioned it. Like, I'd heard of the Calgary Flames. They're Calgary, right? But I had never actually known about a connection to Atlanta at all. But I went years ago. I want to say one of the first years I was down here, I went to see one Thrashers game, and that was it. But now I'm conversant enough, at least with the Blackhawks, for some things that I can tell you, like, for instance, for a long time there, if Forsberg was your goalie, you were going to lose. And now it doesn't seem to be the case anymore. The game my wife went to was actually the first one where they won with him as a starter. But there are still some things I don't get, like how certain types of penalties work and stuff like that. And, you know, so there are some things, like I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 shootouts in the entire time we've been watching this year, so I'm still not 100% sure on certain aspects of shootouts. But, you know, I'm getting there on my knowledge, getting better. We fight! We win! Oh, for the love of crap, if this turret would just start shooting. My turret is just like chilling. Doesn't want to shoot anything.
Together.
Yeah, bad motivator, just lazy. Go, go, go.
The east turbo tank.
Bad motivator would be like a motivational speaker who comes out to talk to you, and instead of getting you fired up, they're like, yeah, do well, do crappy, I don't care. That is a bad motivator. Most motivational speakers, you can do it! This motivational speaker is like, yeah, you might be able to do it. It's maybe. For our brothers.
Get to the East Juggernaut now. Now!
Start playing Brothers in Arms by... Is that Dire Straits that has Brothers in Arms?
Right out, lock it down.
With mist-colored mountains and stuff.
Juggernaut's disabled. All forces, protect the
Go,
second
go, go!
Juggernaut.
Kill, 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 kill! Get me a kill for the milestone, you piece of crap! Oh! Oh, crap, I thought I killed Kylo Ren. I killed somebody else. Then I saw Kylo Ren still standing up. I was like, oh, God!
Let's do this.
There we go. Yeah, I think my favorite Lando skit isn't the deal is getting worse, it's the this guy thing. Although the deal is getting worse all the time makes for a decent ongoing joke. But some of the best Lando humor actually comes in the campaign for this game. I came up with an escape plan with lava. Uh-oh. Got a stutter there, so... Run, run, run. Ah! I hate Palpatine on this game. Palpatine can somehow fry you with Force Lightning through anything. Like, he can be halfway across the screen and fire Force Lightning, and it goes through the barriers of trees, through the stairs, through the actual, walker/tank, and still manage to frickin' hit you. Everybody talks about how underpowered Palpatine is because he can't take a lot of damage before dying. Screw that. He's overpowered with his Force Lightning. Don't know. I would expect if it's going to be a new trilogy, there'll probably be some Force aspect to it, because otherwise you'd have 3 movies that don't have that to it, and I'm not sure that Disney would go for that.
I have been waiting.
Is Snoke Palpatine? No. I fall under the category of Snoke is Snoke. I don't think he's someone we've seen before. Because most of these Snoke is someone we've seen before theories suck. Get up there, and drop it! And go! Did I drop it? At least I dropped it, I think. Maybe it'll do me some good. I don't know if I've got any kills with the turret or not. I mean, I'm down at the bottom rung of the ladder because I'm trying to get turret kills.
Are you offering me a job?
Snoke, we don't know anything about Snoke's abilities yet, so you can't actually answer that. Snoke's greatest ability so far has been to appear in a big-ass hologram. And it's over! Galactic Republic claims victory!
Now our cruiser's ready to launch.
Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? Oh, shit! Is Snoke Darth Sidious? You realize you just asked the same thing. Is Snoke Palpatine? It is Snoke Darth Sidious. Ooh, 6 more officer kills and I get the gun that I've already got because of the Elite Trooper Edition, but at least I get 200 credits. 24 turret kills, so I must have just got 1. Need another 34 with the S5 to get dual zoom, but that dual zoom is going to be sweet for the S5. Not bad at all. And I hit rank 21, so sweet. Whew. You gotta imagine that somewhere on Coruscant there was a, whatchamacallit, a cannibal or a carnivorous species, because there are some of them in the Star Wars galaxy that we see from time to time, that when all the Jedi were being killed at the Jedi Temple was like sitting on the outskirts talking to one of the clone trooper leaders and being like, hey, how much you want for all those bodies, man? That makes some good barbecue. You ever tried youngling chili? There we go. Oh, I got a reward of some kind. Not that I know what they are. It just says reward unlocked. Fantastic. There you go. Doesn't say anything here. I must have gotten a reward for hitting level 20. Oh, yeah, I think whenever you hit new levels, it's supposed to now give you like a little bit of credits or something. All right, so I guess I'll just leave it. I mean, I've got enough to buy even a trooper crate at this point, but if there's a chance we're going to have to pay credits for Phasma and Finn, I guess I'm just not going to open any crates that aren't daily crates between now and then just to see. So, ah, well. Alas and alack, as they say. Okay. Okay. Oh, my back is like, hey, Sonny. I feel almost as broken down as Harrison Ford going into Force Awakens. All right, so what day is today? Sunday. May wind up being able to do a stream tomorrow. Not really sure. It is a traditional work week for us, but we are down to only 2 weeks left for students. So it just depends on how active they are. Usually, my students are less active between about 3:30 or 4 o'clock up until about 7, depending on the day. So depending on how that goes, I may wind up jumping on and doing a stream tomorrow afternoon. Just not sure at this point. If I do streams this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are open. Friday is not. And then Saturday is a maybe, and Sunday is not. So just kind of give you a sense of that. But as always, never quite know when I'm going to jump on and do a stream. So the easiest way to be able to follow it is subscribe to the YouTube channel, and even if you ignore everything else about the subscription process, it does give you a little notification that'll pop up through YouTube to let you know when I start streaming. And of course, anything that does stream about an hour or two after it's done streaming will have processed through YouTube and be available as a regular video on the YouTube channel if you want to check those out. So just giving you a sense of what's going on here. I'm going to head out again. For those who don't know me, I am Nathan P. Butler. This is my YouTube channel. You can find stuff like From the Star Wars Home Video Library here, Fantasy Fight Games reviews, PlayStation VR, Let's Plays, and a PlayStation VR holiday buying guide. If you're looking to buy a PlayStation VR and don't know which model comes with which bundles, this channel has your answer on a recent video. I am also the host, or one of the hosts of Star Wars Beyond the Films with Mark Herleman and Cloud City Casino with Michael Morris that are hosted at StarWarsReport.com. Cloud City Casino is now doing a lot of coverage of Battlefront 2, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested in podcasts relating to Battlefront 2. And of course, you can find my book, a Saga on Home Video, a fan's guide to U.S. Star Wars home video releases, on Amazon. The newest book I had anything Star Wars related in is actually A More Civilized Age, exploring the Star Wars expanded universe, also available on Amazon and elsewhere in that case, where I have an afterword that I wrote that is opposite of forward by Timothy Zahn. And then, of course, my Star Wars Timeline Gold, the most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere, can be found at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline. Ta-da! And JL, if we're talking about 7 p.m., I would not be able to start a stream at 7 p.m. because if I started at 7 p.m., I would have no more than half an hour to stream before I would need to stop. So, don't know. Like I said, if it's gonna be on a weekday, it's gonna be between 3:30 and 7, depending on student needs at the time. But we'll see. Maybe there won't even be one. It just kind of depends on how the day is going and whether I get sucked into a lot of emails and stuff like that. But we shall see. That obviously comes first. Though this is a fun secondary thing, right? All right, so thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Hope you enjoy Battlefront 2. Jump on if you haven't played since the patch. They got a few lifestyle enhancements like the new winner screen with 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and that sort of thing. A countdown thing now to tell you when the next daily crate comes. So have fun, and I will catch you later.